Good news and bad news for the electric car industry, and for the first time, a plurality of Americans support arming teachers. Let's take a look. California made news this week by banning the sale of gas cars by 2035, and then, days later, limiting the charging of electric vehicles due to power grid limitations. We at Rasmussen have been covering electric car practicality for years, and last week we asked 1,000 American adults, are electric cars today practical for most drivers? 54% say no, and only 28% say yes. Perceptions of electric cars are certainly improving. Only 19% said yes when we asked in 2013. Who were the biggest converts? Almost entirely men, especially men under 40. Who are 30% more likely to say electric cars are practical than they did 10 years ago. What's causing the shift? Your guess is as good as ours, but I have a feeling it has a little bit to do with Tesla marketing. Women over 40 are only 3% more likely to say electric cars are practical than they were 10 years ago. The party breakdowns show not much gain for Republicans and independents, and they're essentially tied with 24% saying they're practical now. But that's where Democrats were 10 years ago, and Democrats are now at 37%. But let me restate that. These are Democrats who are routinely much more concerned about climate change than others, and barely more than a third of them say electric cars are practical for most drivers. Looking ahead, how likely is it that most cars will still run primarily on gasoline in a decade? 67% say it's likely, including 37% who say very likely. Only 4% of American adults say not at all likely. 70% of Democrats say likely, including 29% who say very likely. My assessment, there's a lot more work to do to convince Americans before these gas vehicle bans are going to be successful. Now, what about school shootings? We asked another 1,000 adults this week about their opinions. How worried are you about the possibility of mass shootings at schools? 76% said worried, including 44% who say very worried. But who was most worried? Here's the rundown, most to least, very worried. Black Americans, 59%. Democrats, 57%. 18 to 39-year-olds, 51%. And tied at 49%, women and upper income earners. But who are the least worried? Republicans only say 32%, and middle-aged adults, 36%. Next, we asked whether it was a good idea or a bad idea to have teachers trained to carry firearms to protect students at school. Almost a majority, 49% of adults, say it's a good idea, and only 37% say it's a bad idea. Most likely to say it's a good idea are Republicans, 69%, adults with kids at home, 57%, and men, 55%. The people who are most likely to say it's a bad idea are adults over 65, 55% say it's a bad idea, Democrats, 55%, and those with income over 200K. Let's take another look at the party breakdowns, though. A solid chunk of Republicans are against the idea, 19%, but an even more solid chunk of Democrats are for the idea, 35%. And arming teachers wins with independents, 45 to 35%. Here's the biggest news, however. We asked about arming teachers in December of 2018, the year that the Parkland school shooting happened, and then only 41% favored the idea, while 48% opposed it. That's a 19-point pickup in only 4 years, and that's about as huge of a swing in public opinion as you can see. Thanks for watching Rasmussen Reports, and please subscribe and leave any questions or poll ideas in the comments.